Ever felt like you're your own worst critic? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? You're not alone. Most of us are harder on ourselves than on others. It's an interesting reality that while we are often ready to forgive others, we seldom give ourselves that same leniency. What if I told you that forgiving yourself is not a sign of weakness, but a superpower that can lead to personal growth? In fact, contrary to what some may believe, self-forgiveness not a form of self-indulgence, but rather a key aspect of self-improvement and mental well-being. So this is not a journey of weakness, but a journey of strength and self-discovery. Stick around to discover the power of self-forgiveness and how it can transform your life. To illustrate this, let's delve into a story about John, a man who learned the power of self-forgiveness. John was a man who seemed to have it all. He had a high-paying job, a loving family, and was respected by his peers. But one day he made a mistake, a serious mistake, one that cost him his job and caused a fallout with his family. It was a mistake that left him filled with guilt, regret, and self-reproach. In the aftermath of his error, John found himself trapped in a cycle of self-blame. He felt like he was drowning in a sea of guilt, unable to escape. He replayed the incident over and over in his mind, each time berating himself for his carelessness. The more he dwelled on it, the more he sank into the depths of self-loathing. But then one day, John stumbled upon the concept of self-forgiveness. It was a concept that was foreign to him, something he had never considered before. After all, how could he forgive himself for such a grave mistake? Yet, as he delved deeper into the idea, he began to see a glimmer of hope. John realized that self-forgiveness wasn't about absolving himself of his mistake. It wasn't about pretending it never happened or brushing it under the carpet. No, self-forgiveness was about acknowledging the mistake, understanding the consequences, but then choosing to let go of the guilt and self-blame that were holding him back. This was a pivotal moment for John. He started to see that his guilt was not serving him. It was not helping him become a better person, nor was it mending the relationships he had damaged. On the contrary, it was keeping him stuck in a past he could not change, preventing him from moving forward. So John began to practice self-forgiveness. It was a challenging journey filled with ups and downs. There were days when he felt he was making progress and days when he slipped back into old patterns of self-blame, but he persisted. He reminded himself that self-forgiveness was a process, not a one-time event. With time, John began to notice a change. He felt lighter, freer. He was no longer consumed by guilt and regret. He started to make amends, to rebuild the relationships he had damaged. He even found a new job, one that he was passionate about. But most importantly, he found a newfound sense of self-worth and self-love. John's story is a testament to the transformative power of self-forgiveness. It's a powerful reminder that while we cannot change the past, we can choose how we respond to it. And by choosing self-forgiveness, we can free ourselves from the chains of guilt and regret and open up a pathway to healing and growth. But don't just take John's word for it. There's actually science backing the benefits of self-forgiveness. You see, self-forgiveness isn't a new age concept or a fleeting trend. It's a scientifically proven practice that can have remarkable impacts on our well-being. Research from the field of positive psychology shows that self-forgiveness can reduce feelings of guilt and shame, which are often associated with mental health issues like depression and anxiety. By allowing ourselves to let go of past mistakes, we create room for growth and positive change. In a study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine, researchers found that individuals who practiced self-forgiveness reported lower levels of stress and a higher sense of well-being. Why? Because self-forgiveness can act as a form of self-care. It enables us to show compassion towards ourselves, which can reduce stress and promote emotional resilience. Further studies have found that self-forgiveness can even have physical benefits. In a study conducted at the University of California, participants who practiced self-forgiveness showed lower levels of cortisol, the hormone associated with stress. This suggests that self-forgiveness can potentially reduce the risk of stress-related health issues, such as heart disease and immune system disorders. Now, let's talk about the brain. Neuroscience has shown that self-forgiveness can promote neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This means that self-forgiveness can help us to break negative thinking patterns and create new, healthier ways of thinking, and there's more. A study published in the Journal of Health Psychology found that self-forgiveness was associated with better sleep quality. That's right, by forgiving ourselves, we might just get a better night's sleep. Clearly, self-forgiveness is not just good for the soul, it's good for the mind and body too. So let's not underestimate the power of self-forgiveness. It's not just about feeling better emotionally, it's about promoting overall health and well-being. And that's something we can all benefit from. Now that we understand the importance and benefits of self-forgiveness, the question is, how do we practice it? Practicing self-forgiveness isn't as daunting as it may seem. It's a journey of self-discovery and healing. Here are a few practical steps to help you navigate this path. Firstly, self-reflection is key. It's vital to acknowledge our mistakes and the impacts they have had. Only then can we begin the process of self-forgiveness. It's like looking into a mirror, and instead of focusing on the flaws, we recognize the whole picture, the good and the bad. We see ourselves for who we truly are, human beings capable of making mistakes and learning from them. Next, acceptance comes into play. Accepting our faults doesn't mean condoning them. Rather, it's about acknowledging that they happened. We can't change the past, but we can accept it and use it as a stepping stone towards a better future. Acceptance is the first step to change. It's like accepting that we've fallen. Only then can we dust ourselves off and stand back up. Now let's talk about empathy, particularly self-empathy. It's easy to show compassion to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we often fall short. It's important to understand that just as we extend kindness and understanding to others, we should do the same for ourselves. Self-empathy allows us to view our mistakes not as failures, but as learning experiences. It's about giving ourselves the same kindness we would offer to a friend who's made a mistake. Lastly, patience is crucial in the process of self-forgiveness. Just as Rome wasn't built in a day, self-forgiveness isn't an overnight process. It takes time to untangle the web of guilt and regret, and that's okay. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards self-forgiveness and celebrating each victory, no matter how small. In all of this, it's important to remember that self-forgiveness isn't about forgetting our mistakes, but rather learning from them and moving forward. It's about breaking free from the chains of guilt and regret and embracing a future filled with self-love and understanding. Remember, self-forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a continuous process of self-love and understanding. It's about waking up each day and choosing to forgive ourselves, not because we are perfect, but because we are human, and that's perfectly okay. It's about acknowledging our mistakes, accepting them, showing ourselves empathy, and being patient with ourselves as we journey towards self-forgiveness. So, on this journey of self-forgiveness, let's be kind to ourselves, let's be patient. Let's show ourselves the same compassion we would extend to others. After all, we are all works in progress, and that's perfectly okay. Remember, self-forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a continuous process of self-love and understanding. Self-forgiveness is a powerful tool that we all possess but often overlook. It's as essential as air, as vital as water, and as nourishing as food. It's an instrument of liberation, a key to unlock the shackles of guilt, regret, and self-judgment. We've journeyed together today exploring the depth and breadth of self-forgiveness, its benefits, and the ways to cultivate it in our day-to-day life. Self-forgiveness is not an event, but a process, a journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance. It's about acknowledging our mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward with compassion and understanding towards ourselves. It's about releasing the burdens of the past and embracing the promise of a brighter future. It's about living fully, loving deeply, and laughing heartily. This journey, unlike any worthwhile endeavor, requires courage, patience, and persistence. It might be challenging at times, but remember, the rewards are priceless. A life free from the chains of self-judgment and guilt is not only possible, it's within your grasp. We'd love to hear about your journey towards self-forgiveness. Share your experiences, your challenges, and your victories in the comments below. Let's create a community of self-forgiveness, a haven of acceptance and understanding, a beacon of hope and inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like if you found this video helpful, and remember, the journey to self-forgiveness starts with you.